I wonder what this could be. Oh, loading. Oh. Hey, wait a minute. You can actually read. Could this be? Yes! My very first HD playthrough! Yay! Yep, welcome to the Quantum of Solace playthrough. Very first HD playthrough for the channel, so won't this be interesting? Yeah. Quite unlike a lot of other games, you just choose your brightness and your difficulty level, and then you get kicked right into the game. It's just like a movie! Instead of fiddling about with menus, you just set your brightness and choose your difficulty level, just like a movie. I'll get back to you on that. Ah, nice teleport out of your car there. Ugh, that looks nothing like Mr. White.
Hello? Mr. White? Yes, who's this?
A bullet. Looks like you two have already gotten pretty close. Note the use of the technique of hiding the actor's face so that you don't know who it is until the big reveal that he is in fact Daniel Craig. This was a common technique used when a new Bond was introduced, so that people would always be wondering, who is that strange man, even though they must have seen the trailers, so they would know who the new actor is. Plus, you know, he's on the cover of the bloody box.
The name's Bond. James Bond. We need to talk.
Couldn't you have just set up an appointment or something? I mean, instead of shooting me in the ankle. Honestly.
Care to be considered?
Oh, bloody hell. I didn't think a terrorist would actually have protection of some sort. Okay, jumped over 2 walls, and apparently that makes you invisible. And come on, that guy running right there, he should have noticed me. No, he's really not. In fact, he's in plain bloody sight. I mean, he's wearing a business suit, for crying out loud. If you can't see him, you're terrible. You're terrible guards, all of you. Yeah. Based on the Call of Duty engine, so cover-based combat. When you're not in cover, it's first person. When you are in cover, it's third person. I guess so you can see just how cool Bond is. I don't know. But, aim down your sights to pop out of cover and aim more accurately, or you can just blind fire and not hit anything. But, pretty basic. You can dash to cover that's ahead of you. It's a pretty handy move, I guess. Of course, you have regenerating health. Your health meter is the little silhouette of Bond right there in the corner that changes based on whether or not you're standing or crouching. Yep. Oh, and C.CR, a lot of the guns, because I guess they couldn't get licenses to use any of them but the P99, of course. A lot of the guns just have random names or acronyms. Well, not really acronyms, but initials. CR is the initials for Casino Royale, and you're going to see a lot of guns with initials of the James Bond film, so keep an eye out for those. And of course, this hacking minigame. Well, it's not really a minigame, you just hit the right button 4 times in a row. Occasionally 5, and eventually it gets up to 6. Whoa! And occasionally they throw in a button that you're not supposed to push. But if you fail it, nothing happens, so... Oh yeah, and explosive objects tend to shimmer a little bit, so just aim at those, they'll explode, taking out anyone near them. I must get out of here by running straight at the man shooting everyone! This wasn't a good... now I'm dead. Yep, you can patch into cameras. And then when you open up your phone, you can see through the cameras. It's pretty handy for seeing where guards are in relation to the camera. And of course, you will appear on the little mini radar in the corner there, if you're nearby, so it's pretty handy, I guess. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, come on. Terrible at these games anyway. Yep, sprinting. Even though you're a highly trained British agent, you can only sprint for about 5 seconds, so... yeah, that's pretty much it. While you're sprinting, your health doesn't recover, so... and if you sprint at an enemy, you can use the takedown. Nice scream, buddy. Takedowns are just quick time events, so they're pretty easy. And of course, you can only carry 3 weapons, but you can never, ever drop the P99, even if you run out of ammo for it. So, I don't know, I guess the makers of it would sue Activision if they decided to make it so you could drop it or something. And of course, the Bond riff. It was not used in Casino Royale until the end, but that's because it was the story about how Bond, you know, became so good at his job, kind of. I mean, he was still new at the job, but it was used extensively in Quantum of Solace because I guess they considered, you know, Casino Royale his coming-of-age story. So, at Quantum of Solace, he had come of age, I guess. But I think it's a really overused theme nowadays. I mean, part of the reason I really like the Casino Royale soundtrack is because it doesn't use the James Bond theme. Or it uses it very sparingly. Like, you would occasionally get, like, a sole riff of it. Like, whenever a particularly intense action happens. But it would just be, like, a little taunt. Like, a little taunting familiar riff. Just like, oh, you remember this? But it would only be for, like, 2 seconds. Ah, yes, phones. You can pick them up. They give you little hints. Sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're not. Yeah, just a helicopter thing. So, it's not really much to worry about. And of course, it wouldn't be a Bond game without ridiculously effective silencers. Just hit down on the control pad to equip it. Unlike a lot of other games, he just pretty much sticks it on the end instead of screwing it on. And there are achievements in this game. Kill this guy in 1 shot, and you get time to face gravity. All the achievements names are based off quotes or names of the Bond films. So, time to face gravity is, of course, a quote from Die Another Day, a really bad Bond movie. It was Pierce Brosnan's last one, and it took a while. And right after that, they rebooted the franchise, so that should tell you how bad that movie was. Ah, yes, and power weapons. Inside those little yellow briefcases, you can find these power weapons. They are obviously very powerful, hence why they're called power weapons. But, of course, their ammo is highly limited, and you can't really find new ammo for them throughout the level. So, try to conserve ammo. This gun comes with a lot of ammo. I think the amount of ammo you get might change based on the difficulty level. Don't quote me on that, but, you really do want to conserve it for tougher firefights. And, of course, an easy way to conserve ammo is not to miss, like I'm doing here, and to use takedowns. Ah, yes, violence. Don't you love it? Of course, you want to make sure you have it fully reloaded before you enter a firefight, because it takes a while to reload. Yeah, a lot of the takedowns are based on animations from the opening of Casino Royale. You might have noticed. And I'm ready for a shootout. Ooh! Kitchen shootout. See? These seem to happen in a lot of Bond games. Is it just me? Or has there been a kitchen shootout in a lot of Bond games? Or is there just a kitchen shootout in a lot of things in general? What is it about the kitchen that people like to have shootouts in? Is it just because there's food nearby, so, you know, they can grab a bite to eat? Hold on, gotta reload, and, ooh, Twinkie. Boy, this place has a lot of guards. I mean, I know Mansion should have lots of guards, but this is a lot of guards. Alright, it's just saying the helicopter's coming in. Like I said, sometimes they're just not hints, they're just little tidbits of voice acting that I guess they couldn't fit into the rest of the game. Yeah, nice roll, buddy. Yeah, the AI for this game isn't too terribly, fantastically smart. Have you guys seen the movies? Because the briefcase in the movies is just way too big to fit in a safe of that size. It's just not happening. Well, there's a lot of sticky notes here. Maybe they have these passwords on them. It'll make it easier for us to hack. Are spies hacking into your personal computer files? Get the new app for your iPhone. Blow up your computer and anyone around it instantly. iPhone, we've got you covered. Yeah, I know they're actually so... Whoa, that is a terrible effect. I mean, watch this. Now there's a hole in the floor. Why couldn't they have done that with the wall there? Oh, man, it's just... It's kind of lame. Especially when you compare it to the Wii version of GoldenEye. Because that has an entire building explode and collapse in front of you. And it doesn't do any lame effect like that. It just explodes in front of you. It's in the middle of a level. In fact, it's the St. Petersburg tank chase. Yes. But, this really is a mediocre game. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you absolutely had to have a shooter fix and you absolutely needed a Bond game, I mean, there's better ones out there, but there's also worse ones out there. So, and shooting down the helicopter is dead easy. Just do this. And you might notice the gun barrel kind of creeping in as you take damage. That's just kind of a neat effect they decided to do. Huh. I didn't know helicopter crashes only resulted in the blades of a helicopter getting broken. I had no idea the actual form of the helicopter would be completely preserved. Oh, tie clipping through his shirt. And... gun barrel. Wouldn't be James Bond without a gun barrel. And the classic James Bond theme, well, you know, theme songs from the movies. This isn't actually the theme song used in the movie. It's one they commissioned for the game. I guess they realized the one from the movie was pretty bad, and they just commissioned their own, which isn't nearly as bad. Like I said earlier, the James Bond theme is overused, and this is kind of based off the James Bond theme, but it's better than the theme from the movie. That was Card Chase. Unlike the movie, you can see what's going on, because the movie has really bad shaky cam, but it could have been its own level, you know? Like, Agent Under Fire, it's not a fantastic game, don't get me wrong, but, you know, at least it, you know, the driving stages were pretty fun, and, you know, even though this is supposed to be a super realistic Bond game with no gadgets, well, just don't use gadgets. Just make it a regular car chase. I mean, I'm not asking for Burnout or Mario Kart. I just want a, you know, nice little car chase. And you could even have these credits play over them, you know, do the stylized graphics as long as you can see where you're going. Have the names appear, the theme song, if you could get a good loop on it, you could have it playing. It'd be pretty cool. I mean, it would extend the game, because there's only 15 stages in the game. The one we just played doesn't even take place in either movie, it's in between. 4 of them take place during Casino Royale, I mean, Quantum of Solace, and the rest take place during Casino Royale. One of which is just wandering around like you're drunk. So, if you've ever wanted a game where you can play James Bond after he's had one too many martinis, this is the game for you. But, still, you know, at least we'd have something to play instead of horribly fake-looking explosions, bad CGI, and that little skip thing in the corner. And quite frankly, car chase is a lot more boring than the one in the movie. I mean, you can see what's going on, but it's a lot more boring. Come on. Gotta have a driving stage in a James Bond game. Well, I didn't think, you know, terrorist organizations used Google, but, guess this proves me wrong. Now, wouldn't any intelligence agency worth its salt, have some kind of proxy tracker? I mean, the guy just typed proxy servers into the search engine, so he obviously got, you know, the bottom of the barrel, the most easily found proxies. I mean, everyone knows that when you use a proxy server, you're supposed to go into the middle of the results pages, because no one ever searches in the middle. I have no idea how to use proxies. Ugh! Look at that guy's, look at the left guy, look at the left side of that guy's face. I don't mean Mr. White, I mean Mitchell. Just look at him. Look at that guy. Ugh! His left eye is just so wide open. Little error in the transcript. By the way, this is about 90% of the cutscenes in the game. Yeah, they just don't really bother to just, you know, even try real-time cutscenes. They just have this lame smart table thing. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I wish I had a smart table. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, but... I mean, you could have just had cutscenes. I mean, though GoldenEye has cutscenes like this, at least it has cutscenes that aren't like this. The good majority of them aren't like this. Has legitimate cutscenes. This doesn't count as a cutscene, by the way. This is just James Bond standing around wondering what emotion he's supposed to have, if any. Dull shock. Dull surprise. How did I do? And that's the last we ever saw of Mitchell. Oh, don't forget your Sony Vaio. Along with your Sony Ericsson. Yeah, this game has some product placement. You know, it doesn't get exactly all the details of the movie Quantum of Solace, but it gets the one that matters, like the product placement. Goodness knows I wanted a Sony Ericsson after I saw the movies. And I'll admit, they're pretty cool phones. Ah, GF18. Goldfinger, yes. But, might also stand for girlfriend, because, you know, Bond's had many over the years. Ugh. Keep your eyes on the gate, but they have their eyes on where you come out. Boy. Oh yeah, he has boss invulnerability. You won't be able to kill him, or even hurt him until the boss fight, so... That's pretty lame. And no, it's not like GoldenEye. The more you shoot him, the more he does not taunt you, so... there's that Bond riff. Like I said, it's a little overused. Especially in this game. I mean, I'll admit GoldenEye 64 used a variation of it in every game's level music, but, I mean, every level's music, but, you know, the level music wasn't completely composed of it. It would just have a little riff, and it would still be its own regular composition. Oh, bloody hell. Thank you. GoldenEye Wii has a boring soundtrack. I'll at least give this game that. It has a better soundtrack than GoldenEye Wii. Because, I'm sure you guys know that whenever I play GoldenEye Wii, I actually replace the soundtrack with the soundtrack of Epic Mickey. Why? Because, well, Epic Mickey, quite honestly, has a better soundtrack. That oddly fits. You haven't had fun until you've until you've escaped an exploding frigate to the tune of It's a Small World After All. Speaking of explosions, there seem to be a lot of them happening here. On my way. I'll not wait until you're done talking. Slow-mo for some reason. Oh, bats? Maybe that's why it was slow-mo. Was James afraid of bats? By the way, get this. He wrecked his own car by blowing things up. I didn't expect blowing things up would eventually ruin my chances at escape. God, being a terrorist is hard. Sideways glance. How dramatic. Yeah, oh, why is his shirt suddenly blue? Anyway. Throughout this level, you will see satellite dishes. If you shoot them all, you get an achievement. I'm not entirely sure why. It seems like a ridiculous thing. I try to get all of them, but I don't. Ha, I shot Mitchell's car. That's what he gets for being stupid. And that's what I get for getting caught in that piece of level geometry. Oh, quick, hide behind the easily destroyed fruit. Grenades, you can only carry one at a time, but they're virtually useless, so don't really bother using them at all. And even though you can only carry one at a time, they're ridiculously easy to find, so you don't really ever need to worry about running out. Pretty much any major shootout like this one, you'll find grenades. And there's two kinds, explosive and smoke grenades. Smoke grenades obviously make things a hell of a lot harder to see, so don't even bother using those. And explosive grenades, they just make enemies run away in fear, so don't really bother using those either, because they won't work. And of course, grenades beep and glow red, just like in real life. So if one lands right next to you, just run. Pretty simple instructions. Oh. A man with a gun? That only creates slight disappointment in my voice. Yeah, the voice acting in this game isn't exactly very stellar. You'll see a much better example of bad voice acting later on. Well, I was supposed to jump. I forgot. Been playing GoldenEye for too long. You can actually jump in this game. You can't jump in GoldenEye. So, part 2, let's try this again after we shoot down this. There you go. With the Goldfinger 18. Whee! I remember that being a lot more exciting in the movie because, well, I don't know. The movie looked more real, I guess. Not that the graphics are bad, it's just the character models could be a lot better. Also, it did look like James Bond jumped 50 million feet in the air. You might be noticing that there's not an awful lot of stealth for a James Bond game quite yet. Reason being is I don't really consider Quantum of Solace really much of a spy flick. It's more of an action flick. You know, there's a reason it's really compared to the Bourne series. It's because it's not a spy thriller. It's an action movie with shaky cam and not being able to see what's happening at all. But, it's really a mediocre movie. I don't know why I liked it so much when it came out, but looking back, it's not really that great. Casino Royale is much better because it's actually a spy thriller. There's a cell phone. I missed quite a few. Oh well, too bad. So sad. You don't really get anything special except an achievement at the end. Which... I forget what achievement it is. It might be Tomorrow Never Dies, because... No, it can't be Tomorrow Never Dies. I think it's The World Is Not Enough. But yeah, I'm pretty sure each Bond film has an achievement named after it. And some of the better quotes from the films have achievements named after them, like half monk, half hitman, of course. He's coming fast, which is another quote from this game. There's just a lot of quotes. Yeah, time to face gravity. That was a fantastic quote, and it was really kind of ridiculous, even given the context it takes place in. Oh yeah, there's a lot of quotes from World Is Not Enough for the achievement names, because I know of at least. You've defused hundreds of these right, and life's full of small challenges. I watch too many Bond movies, as you can tell. I've watched them way too many times. Especially the Pierce Brosnan ones, because of course that's the Bond actor I grew up with. Now, of course, this game claims to put you in control of Bond's greatest weapon. His mind! Ooh. But, why are you staring at me, James? Anyway, just shoot this bell and it'll drop. But anyway, it claims to put you in, control of his mind, but, it doesn't really seem to emphasize that much, since every time you enter cover, you get kicked out of his mind and into third-person mode to emphasize that, no, you're not Bond, so stop trying to be, you silly, silly person. A3 Raker, the gun we've just walked over, that might be a reference to Moonraker. Might be, like I said. I'm fairly certain all the guns are references. Or at least most of them. But, yeah, that grenade's pretty useless. You can see some destructible cover here, but it's put into a lot more use in GoldenEye, where pretty much everything that isn't level geometry is destructible cover. So it really says something when the Wii version of a James Bond game is a lot better than an HD version of a James Bond game. I mean, sure, GoldenEye came out later, but... and yeah, sure, this was rushed, but to coincide with the movie, but could have had it coincide with the DVD release instead of the movie release. Just saying. Ah yes, coming up as a boss fight. Oh, the lighting changed to a brown filter. Must be in realism. Yep, the boss fights are just quick time events. Longer versions of the takedowns. This was a lot more exciting in the movie because it didn't interrupt the action every 15 seconds to make me push or mash a button. Also, it looked considerably more real than this. Yeah, that was a lot cooler in the movie. Get ready for lameness. Yeah, even though the way he dies in the movie is completely ridiculous, it was still a lot better than that. Ugh. Anyway, you're about to see the entire part of Haiti in the movie completely glossed over. Even though they could have had a car chase, you know, the part where he's in the car with Camille, they could have had him in a shootout at the docks, or having to sneak into the hotel where the guy who tries to stab him is. So they could have had 2 levels out of that. Medrano's face is melting a bit there. And they could have had the boat chase. The freaking boat chase. That was cool. It's one of the cooler parts of the movie. But nope. Can't have any fun. Nope, instead we just skim over all that. and go straight to Austria. Lovely. Ugh.